では4回目でございます。んで、ここだな。コンコン。裏庭のなんか、部屋。
Be still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine. The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you.
No, I'm just a regular detective, thank you very much. Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. However, see that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor, no? A secret path the local kids use.
なるほど。これじゃないの。これてもらえないのか、拾えないの。ニュース。買わないかな。ボタンもないぞ。例えば、はしごを調べましょう。コート、あるぞ。こっちから上に登れる。とりあえずこっち調べ。部長、向こうか。いけないんだけど。はい。はい。懐。スティックボタンは何の関係があるの？オークションで。操作方法。アイテム。うんこ。スティック。押しボタンがあんまり反応してない気がすんだけど。どれだっけ？サイレントいらなかった。クランプ。これか。死ね。どういうこと？なんやねん。
Yes?
特に何もないか。金か。こんな金も拾ってていいのか、こいつ。こ ここまでかいけるの。こっち行けるだけ。抜け道。だからなんかどっか行けんじゃないのか。こっから来たんだよな。どこも意見が。拾えない。これ、オートで歩いてくれる。あ、ここから登れる。野沢、フェドって何だっけ？回復アイテムか。野沢、フェード。違う、あれだ、体力回復するやつ。落ちとる。なんでこんなに小銭が落ちてたの？酒じゃないか。アクションできないか。いけないか。これはいけない。いけない。こらどこに行くの？せっかくここに来たの。こっちに行けなかった。しょっぱくない。いや、これがいけるって判定だからどっかから行けるんだ。
When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance. Over. That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Is it? Kvalsund makes a lot of heavy equipment, but this is phenomenal, even for them. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
才覚。
What are we doing? We're awfully close to breaking into the industrial harbor. They are bound to have information for us. I thought that was our intention. Or it could be that we are just exploring. The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it? Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meter stops. Whenever you're ready to do it, I'll be right behind you.
うち。才覚ってどれだけ細かく。でも未視覚に。アイテム押せばいけるか。才覚を出したやつどれだ？
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. With the permium.
Yoshi, これで。
tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing.
言い使いあるか。
As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement. Martinez goes about its daily routine as you soar through the air. The loud voices of protesters mix with the engine sounds from the traffic jam. Waves crash against the pier, and dense, salty sea air fills your lungs. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring, Martinez goes about its daily routine. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable. Must be the adrenaline.
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can explore the harbor now.
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
やべ、なんか。話とか全然関係ないしにやってしまった。これがあれなのか。ストーリーの、これを。ここならどこにいるんか。こっちがこれでこれが開くんか。お腹入ったぞ。歌。演劇。かっこよくなった。すぎるでしょ。藤屋。高い。鑑定、アイテムとかな。広島、鍵がかかっている。自覚を持っているように
On
見える。
second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data and the same materials. You already went through all of these.
行くぞ、70%。
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well.
行きやだ。
Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
イブラートって何？
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Booze? Blood? Remember, Leo, all items on the list, hundreds of documents, and the same material you already went through. The drawer slides shut. Lonesome, long way home.
ヨドバシ、校庭に入った。あ、違う。これが、あれか、変身したのか。近くの学習状況。雑誌が手に入る。
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism, they represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. A shameful way to treat a former king, even one as underwhelming as Friesel. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du Cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling this
なる
thing.
ほど。
You flip back to the front
京
of
都
the
さん、
magazine.
鑑定。
The table of contents unfolds before you.
戦争は共産、鑑定など鑑定者に。
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that. It seems to be part of a new public
Tenandai.
fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara,
クマ、
SRV,
デスイング。
devised and promoted by none other than President Kenajinsky himself. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV. Of course not. The article makes plain that this is man on bear, or in some cases, woman on bear competition.
やべえな。
Two competitors, one ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation.
勝てねえだろ人間。
According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12% and 7% respectively. That's very much the idea. President Kaczynski has long maintained that a strong body is the best defense against capitalist aggression.
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask? They're quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear plastic sheets. On account of the blood, you see.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines, Nazteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers, your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind? A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article
なんだろ
by the
う、
writer
ワイルド
G.
カインズ。
Martin accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. According to these editorials, private enterprise is simply a means of organizing labor that would already happen regardless. It goes on to call the Wild Pines a nightmarish transnational leech sucking the life from the laboring classes of Martinez. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
「色が違うこれ」どこ？
The file
この
cabinet
会社
stands
みたい
steady
な
as
ところ
ever.
が出
The
てきた。
drawer slides shut.
これはあれか
Sleep.
もし。あと、見てない。重かった。
An imposing
電話機みたい。
combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the
ファイル
side
レコード。
says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change.
配給 OS。
The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952, and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. Calling. Calling. Still calling. Then
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lummy. How may I help you?
the voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lummy. Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? If you need any further assistance, you can visit us on the corner of Voyager and Main. I can't help you over the phone. Are we done?
On the corner of Voyager and Main, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building.
ボイジャー
Video Revachol, 24 hours. It's raining and there is almost no traffic on the street. A woman's footprints in the mud lead away from the front door. Tiny
女のお仕
heels
事
tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed with a lifetime ahead of them. You look up and the air seems to grow darker. Suddenly you feel like you don't want to hear about video rentals anymore. You don't want to hear about any of it. It was all shit. It's over.
That's enough for you today. Let's conclude this call.
It.
トゥーム、オートゲーム。上限アップ。横浜がはい。この辺りはどうやったら手に入るかわかんないもんで。こっちは大沼、事故。 超出るシカ猫。こいつ、どこから来？いや、これどうやってもとんのこれ。落ちる。
Yes?
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really hard here. Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Yes, this looks pretty advanced, all right. For now, let's just move on.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
If you must. But please hurry, we are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that? Of course you are. What murder investigation would be complete without an arbitrary photo collage?
This is the night watchman.
これ全部で1個ってことか。いけるの、ここだけかな。こっちもいける。よいしょ。こっち行けないのか。関係ないよね。行けませんわ。じゃあ、あそこ行ったか。帰れないか。
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead,
これは動
moving
く
a
のか。
massive metal container through the air. And, with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled. Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built. For this purpose, it has acted, and now it will
なんで
rest.
こんな。
I can't see how that was worth
一
the
度途中に
records,
整理をかけ、
except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
The crane does not
これ
return
は
to its original position. It does not move
え、
at
お
all.
金。
No screech of metal when you push the button this time. Only silence as the crane remains
はいどれも
in
関
its
係ないん
state
かい。
of dormancy.
これか。こういう風になってんのか。はいはいはい。マザーファイト。アイテムなんか。91年ってどういうこと？ 51日じゃないか。
Before you
これは
stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? There may very well be, but we are not here to look for that. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk to the Union, right?
You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container.
不可能。不可能。もうなんか食べ方。これ、ここまでか。やれること、ないか。パパールとかでもダメか。
You're back before the cargo container.
ダメか。
Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown.
クソ。仕方ねえ。なんかその選挙に来たんだけどなんか知らんけど。コンテナが小銭あった。なんでこんなちょこちょこ違うのこれ。牛はなんか落ちとるぞ。ウルトラシリーズ黒。国立そば基地さばきなんか行こう。あれ選べ。歩幅は他に。
Container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on. Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard.
とは組合の人だよね。
Everard Everard. He looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister? I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them. Sure, mister. About
音楽を止めたら全然ダメ。
Most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business.
もっと、タイタスと仲間たち。
Him and his boys stirred up
こ
something
い
in
つらの問
town.
題は
Probably
何なんで
drank
しょ
too
うね。
much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling him to take some time off. I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business. But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after this. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends. He's friends with everyone around here.
You're never getting anything useful out of him. It's good enough you found out Everard has a brother called Edgar, and he helped Leo.
Oh, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
Yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am.
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Oh, Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly. But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood, knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
エリザベス。
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
Yes, this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
Well, thanks a lot. Coming from you, it means a lot, really. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you... Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys. Oh, Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Bye-bye now.
こっちにいるってことか。タスク。運よくわかんねえか。これさえ、危害。あれか。あれをクリアしないとダメだってことか。名字も多いよ。行きますか。よくわからんけど。パールを装備しろとかに書いてあったな。記憶が足りなければ。ここまで選択でき。入るじゃん。
Nice. New game every day.
あれ？あらこんにちは。売れた、登れた。これはいくらとか。クロード、君こんにちは。
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you.
悪そうな顔してんな。
With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you. With a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare,
名前が判明したな。
head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it. Filter it out.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is. Okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
あれちょっともうダメじゃん。
Officer.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
やばいよ。これ選ぶしかないのか。これ体力また減っちゃうじゃん。
You're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it. You want to cry? God, you're weak. Whatever.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
気力上げてなかったら死んでたわ。
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Don't be dramatic. I can see your condition isn't terminal.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time, and I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are
バサ
too.
バサ。
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
キャット、本題に入っ
Quick,
た。
here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
間違えた。舌を押したら。
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
Does this jiggling ooze think he's going to use you? He's got another thing coming. Play his game, son, with your eyes peeled. He's going to slip up, and when he does, you're going to come out on top.
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run around all day.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So, oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about. A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you. Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez. Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew. There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier. My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor.
1 hour's
I
passed.
couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
He is not.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
I assure you, there's nothing to be ashamed of, Harry. You're among friends, and the good news is... I have a big fat folder on you, Harry. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. Maybe I can help you out.
Don't trust him. For all you know, Dubois might be his name. You need to confirm this.
I'm sure you had some concerns you thought I might be able to address. And you were probably right. I can.
It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now. It's Harry. Harry Dubois. And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you? Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man. Do you strike yourself as a family man, Harry? Well, yes. I'm sure you're going to make one little boy or a girl very happy and proud one day, Harry. Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky, outshining all other stars. You're a superstar. Of course I do, Harry. And I'm gonna help you shine. I'm gonna put you on all the big stages, your name in giant neon letters. Harry Dubois.
He's probably just making a guess based on your recent activity in Martinez.
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
I'm afraid this is meant for union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me.
この時点でさ、これ。触れない。触るしかない。
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age... Yes, yes, Harry. You are obviously in peak physical condition, and I salute both your initiative and your physical prowess. Very impressive, Harry. Very impressive. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Let's hear it, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me. Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here. You're one of us now. A real red and white union man.
これ、盗んだやつがあるからいけんじゃないの。タイムカードとか。あれ？相手に入れたって言ったけど。 これ。
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. See you soon.
これは事故。どこから出るんだろう。降りれないんだけど。どうやって帰るんやろ。
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she... No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all.
もういいや。演劇を逃す。ノートがあったっけ。演劇。これはも進撃が低いのか。どっかでのこれよくわかんねえ。どこから来たの。やばい。これか。これはあんまり。やばい。帰り道がわかんねえ。こっちから来た気がするからここ行けんじゃない。これか。これいける。イントロとできない。できる。いけなくない。いけない。違う人間の。いや、いけないよな、こっち。いけない。でもいけない。運動、取り方がわからねえ。あ、ここが出るんだ。ここどこだ。どこだ。女が人がいっぱいいるんだが。もういけねこ。なんだこれ。
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
わけわからんこと
No,
言っと
you
る。
don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning. Begging for help. Attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in... You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic
ボブボブ
skulls.
禁酒差別
Ask what kind of races there are
ここは
first.
成功した。
Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you? What thing? We already got in the harbor.
You are obviously a liberal, Sailite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. I knew you would go straight for the vile cauldron. Everyone does. You need to first learn about Type A and B to appreciate the depravity of the chimeric races.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, it just won't make any sense.
Yes, it would seem nonsensical.
Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. A receding genetic
Just
pool
a vessel.
has led the Maun unreprehensible. You know them by the names of the Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century. You might want to avoid
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina,
横文字が多
the
すぎるでご
ancient
ざる。
Meteorans, the other large mondial civilization, the Mesk, are overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brain, as proven by the Maun and the
おいちょっとな
Mesk.
で。
Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminese and the Areopagite are only as the indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ilmaran desert. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The latter is perfected in adapting. Together, Type B are the unheroic races. Amorphous non-competitive. To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the grad people have undergone. The Khoikhoi, the countless micronationalities of grad, or Revacholians, halfway between Type A and the racial cauldron. Too mixed to know right. Types CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only possible if the mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension. Then there is the Semino Khoikhoi. The Khoikhoi, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists say this will never happen. The Simonese and the Khoikhoi may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito, but enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type CF. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your...
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
Oh, don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital. Something your jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate offshoots of the Seminese people invented disco while having sex. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the South Island race. Haplogroup R4. We are the future. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulumbuir are with me in my genetic tree. No. I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just... You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one. There always is.
Race is real.
The man looks at you, silent.
You are not Santiago. Santiago is not you. Even the French racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting.
I am not like them. I am
true. That is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself.
You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual. It is impossible to see any more of your bone. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. Your racial heritage is uninteresting.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both.
There is nothing funky about them. I cannot possibly imagine what they are.
けないのこれ。これを育てないとダメなのかな。間に合わなって何か言ったの。
Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that fucking kid.
No, I said scab. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife? A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Of course, I got you. You don't know anything. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. Polar weasel? Oh, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure he's actually Occidental, though. So you're gonna be committing fratricide, my racist friend. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the wailing in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
裏側。
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dog worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for. We're negotiating our share. Aye. This stuff, they already covered. Never grateful. Were we ever grateful, we'd have nothing. You fight for every piece. All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
黒沢。
I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway, and moralism is the most corrupt of them all. No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. And none of the above kind
まあ
of
これで
thing.
いいか。
No harm in being that. Sure, I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, having command of his time is the most important thing. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide, yet it feels as if he could effortlessly go even wider, if need be, an endless torrent of time.
We're negotiating our share. Aye.
The man whispered,
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the
傭
question.
兵なのか。
Why even do such a thing? What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course. Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts. I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
あらら。
he means a more violent faction could easily take care of such a thing.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
これどうやってどっから出てくの？降りれないぞ、これ。あ、こっちか。どうやって行くんだい？こうか。こうやって、こうか。こう。こっち側に出れるのか、これ。はいはいはいはい。ダイヤ、ちょっと、せっかくだからこの辺り見ていくか。バサバサ。 ちょっとお金。
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. The driver has a large metal. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over. He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who knows when it will come in handy, a slightly scared, racist lorryman.
お金落ちて、チャリ。そこまでしかないのかな。タンクトップ。肉体装置。ランジ。これを。
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV, the insane." As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chest piece. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal. As you look up, something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. But someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word for it. Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution, but the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement? Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here, and people still shoot them, sometimes at kings.
The king stands high above you, surveying the bay.
あれ？これ、選べない。こいつ。今、話したよな。
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
Ah, 違う。戻れね。行けるところ行けないとこ、よくわかんないよね。これは小銭を拾っていく。
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone. Why? I just told you why.
Pasokan, でかいやつ。誰？
We
リーダー。
have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed their families. Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand. Maybe you should ask them questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scott.
Are?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
こいつらは一人、アプリなのか。
When the man moves around, you perceive some serious abs underneath his tight-fitting shirt. This man is in shape. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem
ああ、ま
ill-fitting.
あ、起きてるってことか。
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the
こいつが傭
air.
兵
The
なの
clothes
かな。
are obviously not his.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do!
You've been talking to him for quite a while now.
うるせえ。
Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? Big mess caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
A monstrous shadow high above the fire traps of the domain. The 881 motorway running over this district of Jamrock. Concrete pillars rise up from the midst of the dilapidated wooden houses. On the horizon, barely visible, the hazy machinery of the harbor. Life in the domain is even worse off than in Martinez. The cold air is stiff from the fumes of the motor carriages and lorries roaring overhead. Below, broken down, battered people mill on the dusty streets with no purpose. Yet amongst them, there is no sight of this man. Nowhere.
Yeah? What makes you say that? Your gut's got too much alcohol in it, getting delirious. What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people. We're all workers, right? Workers.
A monstrous shadow high above the fire trap.
So anyway, cop, that's where I'm from. It would be stupid to doubt that. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. We're all workers.
A monstrous shadow high above the fire traps of the domain.
So anyway, cop, that's where I'm from. It would be stupid to doubt that. Worked at Territorial. Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you? Big mess caused by union. We're all workers.
A monstrous shadow high above the fire traps of the...
So anyway, cop, that's where I'm from. Worked at Territorial. We're done here. I have a strike to break. Right to work! Right to... Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my...
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
We were promised work. We'd be in there. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Yeah? That giant up there on the bridge you talked to. Head measurer. Won't let the workers by. The access panel is right behind him. Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke, and my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters. Like civilized folk, you mean? These native fucks don't understand civilized.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
どこにあった？大金拾っていく。
Hello, compatriote. You have something to... it's about biological Not the most popular topic nowadays.
Change the topic. The way he says it makes it almost sound.
Suit yourself, officer. Hide your face. Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some... The strike? Oh, they've been at it for... Apples. Fine.
He's given you the runaround.
Hello again, officer. How are things? Me? I am just a gardener.
She hides it well, but behind the sweat and dirt there is something.
Is there?
The quickness of the reply certainly does not prove you wrong.
I am working. I have a greenhouse in the... well...
Don't worry, me.
Salts? Ammonium salts? Perhaps useful.
こっちの方、後で。めんどくさいから。
This Postlavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized
ニュー
with
スの段、
graffito.
今
A
回。
closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant. The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and Saint G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder. Then you
どういう
swallow.
こと？
And then suddenly, you see it. Over all the other graffitos, someone has, using the tip of a very sharp knife, cut the words, Revachol forever. The box seems happy.
「あっちの方行ってもいいけどまあいいや。とりあえず。おなんか人が変わっとるや。めっちゃいる福島工場で今日はやめるか。いやなんか知らんけど。よくわからんことになった。組合の偉い人にテスト破り集団がふとし破り集団が登場する。どういう流れになるんだろうな。店の中を探索するのと、西側を探索。あと、裏庭の。鍵をもらったやつを開ける。ってところかよし。今日はこれで終了である。お疲れ様でございました。コメントありがとうございました。さようなら。